Good morning. This is Mr. Herman, and this video is going to be about modeling exponential equations. So for the past couple of weeks, we've been looking at tables, graphs, and equations of exponential functions, and now we're going to look at all of our contextual problems that we've started to look at already. So we'll start off with some review of looking at our equation. So we've seen this equation of y equals a times b raised to the x, and so our a is the initial value, which can also be called the y-intercept. And then we have b, which is our growth or decay rate. Okay. Let's see. We also saw this form of the equation. So once again, a is our initial value. Okay, and then we have this 1 plus r, and that's our percent rate. And I'll include as a decimal. Okay. We'll see that today as we watch this video. And then plus for growth minus for decay. Okay. So then if we remind ourselves about what our equations look like, for decay, the rate is between 0 and 1. Okay? And then for growth, the rate is greater than 1. Okay? Because we've seen in class that when we multiply by 1 every time, it just gives us a straight line. If we multiply something bigger than 1, our end result gets bigger. Less than 1, it gets smaller. Okay? So let's go and start looking at a couple of problems. So we're going to start off with Mr. Gibson. He's investing $100 in the bank and earns 2% each year. Okay? So let's kind of break some things down here. So he's investing $100. Okay? And when he invests $100, that's how much he's starting with. Okay? So as we write our equation, y equals, we've got y equals 100. Now if we look at the rate here, that's a percent rate, and so we want to write it as a decimal. So 2% equals 0.02. Okay? So then if we're earning money, that means that we're going to be having a growth rate, which is why Mr. Herman used green here. And so it's positive, so plus 0.02. And when we simplify, y equals 100 times 1.02 raised to the x power. Okay? So when we interpret, we have a couple of things going on here. So first off, we're kind of rephrasing the scenario that you were given. So the 100, how much money Mr. Gibson started with, and then 1.02 is the growth rate at which he earned money. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and check in with how much money will Mr. Gibson have in 5 years. So we're kind of just going back and plugging in what we have seen into our equation. So you've got y equals 100 times 1.02 raised to the 5th. Okay, so we'll break out the calculator. Okay, so we've got 100 times 1.02 raised to the, and that's the caret button on your calculator, to the 5th, which is 110 dollars and 41 cents. So y equals 110 and 41 cents. So not a whole lot of money after 5 years of investing only $100. All right, so we've checked with Mr. Gibson on his money that he is investing. Let's go ahead and take a look at Miss Kirchhoff's car that she is buying. Okay, you know, all our financial advising here. So, Miss Kirchhoff's car costs $18,000. Its value decreases by 9% each month. Okay, so we're trying to figure out the value of Miss Kirchhoff's car. So we'll see how much she's starting with that car cost. So she's starting with $18,000, their initial value. So y equals 18,000. Okay. Now since we've got a percent rate in here, we got to make sure we use our 1 plus or 1 minus formula. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and look at this rate right here. So we have the word decrease in here, which means we want to see a minus symbol. And then decreases with 9% as a decimal, that's going to give us 0.09. So we'll fill in 0.09 into our equation right here. And then we'll go ahead and simplify it right quick. So we've got y equals 18,000. Was that 0.91 raised to the x? And notice how since that's less than 1, it has to be decay, which aligns with what we saw in our scenario. Its value is decreasing. Okay? Now, if we go ahead and interpret the parts of our equation, so 18,000 is the initial cost of Miss K's car. And then we have our 0.91. So it's the rate at which her car loses value. That means that after 1 year, or after 1 month, it's going to be worth 91% of what it was worth the month before. Okay, so that's not real good in this situation. So let's take a look at what the value of Miss K's car is going to be after 20 months. Once again, we'll break out the little calculator. Let's plug it in first. So y equals 18,000 times 0.91 raised to the 20th. 18,000 times 0.91. Raise it to the 20th. That car's not worth a whole lot after 20 months. That's just under 2 years. So $2,729.61. Okay. So that car loses value real quick. So we looked at Mr. Gibson's finances, Miss Kirchhoff's new car. Let's go look at Mr. Herman's YouTube page. He's trying to, if teaching doesn't work out, he'll try to get his YouTube page to make some money off of. And we're not doing too hot right now. I've only got 21 subscribers. I'm predicting that they're going to triple each month because all of my students are watching their Edpuzzle videos. Of course, that's correct. So I already have 21. 21 is my initial value. I'm starting with 21. So y equals 21. Now, in this case, my growth rate, it says that we are tripling. Now, we got to be careful here because it says tripling. If I see a word like triple or double or 4 times as much, we're not going to have the 1 plus r. The 1 plus r, the 1 minus r is only with percent rate. So that triple, right here, 3. Okay? So if we go ahead and interpret each of the components of our equation, So 21 is the initial number of subscribers. Okay, notice how in context we talk about that initial value. We say initial number of subscribers. We call it the initial value in math language. So it kind of goes together. And 3, the number of subscribers, triples each month. Okay. Now, if Mr. Herman is in fact correct in his prediction, which he hopes that he is, we'll see if it sounds reasonable. After 10 months, that's about a school year, let's see how many subscribers I'll have. So y equals 21 times 3 raised to the 10th power. So let's go and go to the calculator and see what they're saying here. 21 times 3 raised to the 10th power. Ooh, that's a lot of subscribers. 1.2 million. Ooh, I hope that y'all watch your Edpuzzle videos. So y equals 1,240,029 subscribers. That's probably not real likely, but you know what? I can hope, both for my sake and for your sake of watching these Edpuzzle videos. You have a few questions to answer before moving on to your practice assignment today.